Hey, how's it going, guys? It's your retro future boy, Ricky Summer here. I know what you're thinking. Hey Rick, where you been for the past few months? Well, listen, I went back to the future just for a skosh, just to scope some YouTube out. But today I've come back in time to talk to you about a game that I think deserves so much more love and attention than it is currently getting. I'm very excited. But listen, first, a message from our sponsor.
Inner Rim Excavations. Building the future.
Alright, so the game in question is called Million to One Hero, and the way I would describe it is Mario Maker for the PC. Oh, listen, are you ready? Strap yourself in, boys and girls. It's gonna get wild. Listen, it's not gonna get that wild, but it's a game that I've been having a lot of fun with. And I want to get the word out there, and I'll tell you why once we get into this video a bit. Just real quick, I'm gonna slide into your DMs here with a little bit of housekeeping. Yes, I did receive Million to One Hero for free from the developers, but that does not color my opinion of the game one way or the other. If I didn't like the game, I wouldn't make a video about it. Happens all the time. Alright, now let's get into it. So listen, the basic premise of the game is the great Titan of Time, Kronos himself, kind of breaks the fourth wall and talks to you in the year 2019, telling you about the time of legendary Greek heroes, Hercules and Perseus and Achilles and Epicus. That's the guy you play. Listen, he might not be the greatest hero of all time, but gosh darn it, bless his con socks, he tries real hard. And you know what? I want you to try real hard for him. So in terms of the actual gameplay, it's pretty standard platforming affair. You know, running, jumping, you can do this slide down a wall kind of action when you're in midair. And even on the ground, you can do this dash so you can extend your jump in any direction. It's pretty dope. You can even use that to do a ground pound. It's pretty wild. Then on top of that, you can pick up kind of secondary weapons. So you've got a standard attack. You know, you just mash that square button right there, you'll do a standard attack and you can beat the pulp out of enemies. But then you can pick up secondary weapons for specialized purposes. You've got a bow that, you know, of course will do damage to enemies, but is also useful for like shooting triggers and buttons to open doors and that sort of shit. Then you've got a hammer that'll break through certain types of terrain. And finally, a shield that lets you push enemies away, or you can use it to parachute down great distances. You know, on their own, all these little bits and pieces, we've seen them before, it's nothing new, but you slap them together and I feel like it just turns into a real nice, satisfying package, and I've been having a lot of fun with it. Alright, so now let's get to the real exciting component of Million to One Hero, the level editor. It's actually pretty fully featured. I've been having a lot of fun just making levels. I've actually spent more time making levels than I have playing them. So you got all your standard stuff. You can throw in little enemies, you know, you can fully craft the terrain. You can actually create secret areas, so areas that look like it's just a flat rock face, like a wall, but then you actually walk in there and it reveals that it's a hidden area. I'm gonna have fun with that, make no mistake. You can put down all the little secondary weapons wherever you want. You can have portals that take you all over the place, so I can see, you know, people making some really creative layouts with that. There's conveyor belts and all these different types of triggers and little logic components, logic gates, and I don't know what you call them, programming kind of stuff that lets you trigger things in just the right way. I feel like there's a lot there. There's a lot of creative potential there, and I'm really looking forward to seeing what people do with it. You can also plop in NPCs and have them speak. You can write dialogue for them, so you could tell a story. You can create a proper adventure. Then on top of that, you can pick out one of the overworld maps and slot in your own created levels into it, and suddenly you got a big old adventure. And I've played some of the developer made adventures, and man, they're hard, but look, there's some fun to be had there, make no mistake. But now we need to address the elephant in the room. We need to talk about the biggest glaring issue with Million to One Hero. And that, unfortunately, is the fact that it relies so heavily on its community. I mean, that is great, that is fantastic, but for a small indie title like this, if it doesn't develop a community, buddy, there's not going to be any levels to play. And honestly, that is why I'm making this video. I've been having such a good time playing Million to One Hero. I don't want the dream to die now. I want the word to get out there, and I want people to make some levels for me, and I want people to play my own levels. So when you play someone's level, you can like it, and you can also add a little tag. So like you can say, hey, yo, it's a hard level, or it's a level that requires skill, or this is a speed run level, dog, or this level was too easy, this level was cute, this level was funny, this level was any and all of those things, and all of them combined. It's almost like the user-defined tags on Steam, right? You know what I mean? The building blocks are all there. It just needs the community to get behind it. Listen, and I feel like the game is kind of in an interesting and awkward place in that it both relies on and is detrimented by the success of Mario Maker 2. I feel like this concept, the action platformer with the super robust editor, wasn't really super popular until Mario Maker and Mario Maker 2 came around. So this game is kind of relying on that hype being built up by Nintendo and their Mario Maker series, but then it's also in direct competition with it. Buddy, listen, it's in a rock and a hard place right now. But I feel like if you've been hanging around on YouTube, watching every man and his dog making these Mario Maker 2 Let's Plays, and you're going, hey, yo, I'd love to get in on that. Hey, but maybe I don't own a Switch, or maybe I find the very concept of Mario culturally and racially insensitive. Scusi. Whatever the case may be, Million to One Hero very well might be the game for you. The Mario Maker for PC. And with that, I'm gonna drop my mic. I've said my piece. I've shilled the game. Let's quickly jump into a level that I made earlier today. I'll show you what I did with the editor, and I'll slip a link to that level in the description below so you can play it. Alright, see you after the jump. Alright, and here we are inside the game. So this is the level editor. You've got a bunch of assets that you can use up here. I'm not going to go through them all, but there is quite a lot to do here. You can change the time of day and like the environment, and it doesn't affect what you've already made. It's fantastic. So we're going to use darkest here. We can also adjust certain things like to show or not show, right? So because I've got a really dark level, I actually want to see what's going on when I'm editing. So like I'll turn lighting off or something like that. We can also adjust the water level. So now we can make water levels, boys. Oh God, Lord preserve us. And we can also turn it to lava, which is what I intend to do there. If I can, all right, we're good here. Okay. Let me raise, there we go. That's what I want. I want it right there. Okay, we are good. So now all I'm going to do is I'm going to press start on my controller, and we're going to jump in and play this level. Look at us go, boys. All right. So this was made totally from scratch. We've just gone through a portal and it's taken us to the top of the level here. We're going to break a vase right there. Grabbing those Kronos memory orbs. That's a checkpoint. We don't need a checkpoint. This is an easy level, dog. But I'll throw it in there. Coming down. Look, we're gonna fight the Cyclops. You don't have to fight the Cyclops, but if you want to be a hard man about it, you know, we'll fight the Cyclops. That's Kronos himself coming in, saying howdy, saying what up, dog. Oh shit! Oh, we've been bamboozled, Indiana Jones style, and the exit has been blocked off to us. What are we gonna do? Well, we'll jump down here to the next portal world. So this is pretty cool. This is taking us. Listen, we'll talk about that in a second. This is taking us to a whole like second layer. So every level is up to 2 whole levels, right? So I've taken a portal. Whoa, the laser's triggered. Listen. We'll talk about this in a second. So I've taken a portal to an entirely different screen that has a whole other level on it. It's pretty dope. So you could use that for like interiors. I'm picturing like you could make a literal village and have, you know, you go into the interiors, into the little buildings, and it's a section of this second layer of the world. It's, oh man, it's pretty dope. So we're going to slide down here in the dark. Is this good game design? Probably not, because I'm forcing you to make a leap of faith. You don't know what's happening. It's all in the dark here, buddy. Yo! Alright, listen, hoisted by my own level. Moral of the story, do not whack the boulder. So let's take the conveyor belts, which have 3 potential speeds that you can use there. And now we're just going to run across with our super sped. So I've set this level up to kind of auto kill these sheep because they drop a lot of orbs. Listen, I'm already getting ideas for some fantastic concept levels that just have conveyor belts everywhere. Boom, and we've done it. There we go. The greatest of all time. Okay, so let me show you what's going on here. So we go in through this portal and it's going to take us up to this area here. And I've used the darkest environment because I really like playing with light and only showing the player exactly what I want them to see at any given moment. You know, I love that concept. And I love dungeon levels where it's all dark and moody. Anyway, so we're jumping up here, out of sight, up to this second area, bouncing across to the kind of hidden area, but it's not hidden because you have to go through there anyway. And then we've got a leap of faith. And I figured, you know, I've got to correctly demonstrate this is a leap of faith. And I did at one point have the shield that would allow you to parachute down. I thought that's too easy because then what you can essentially do is, if you know what you're doing, you can cut through here and you can bypass the trigger that closes the gate. But we'll get there. We'll get to that in a second. So I figured we'll add a bunch of arrows here so that you actually know to drop down, leap of faith, and we come to the hidden Cyclops area. Now, the reason I've hidden that behind the this is a secret area walls, because when I didn't have that, from here, you could totally see it because there's like there's a lamp there and whatnot. You could see it. And I wanted to hide every component of the level as much as possible, like before you'd gotten to it. Anyway, so we defeat the Cyclops or not, and we jump across here, and that's the trigger right there, right? So that feeds into, what is this? That's a great question. That is an XOR, which does what? Logic gate XOR. Its output is active when only one of its inputs is positive. Okay, so once we pass that, it goes through this, triggers a inverter, which then closes the gates. Because I think by default, the triggers will open the gates. So this closes the gates, right, timed right, so that once we get there, it closes and it shows us closing, which is pretty cool. I wanted that effect of not getting there and having it already be closed, but like as you're jumping up, it's closing before your very eyes. So it kind of makes you go, oh shit, I got to get to it, even though you're not going to make it. Then we jump down here, and that's going to take us to World B. And we spawn all the way up here. And again, I'm playing with light here so that you're only seeing what you need to. So we're jumping across here, so it shows you the obstacle. We're jumping across here. You trigger a laser thing. Not that it matters, because it's not a danger at all, really. But I just wanted to trigger something, dog, you know? And then let me hang on. Let me turn off the light. There we go. Now we can actually see what's going on. I keep misclicking that one. That's the one. Okay, so then we have to slide down here. There's spikes there. So, I mean, I know what to do, but this is poorly lit. And I recognize that's probably poor level design. But again, I didn't want you to sit here and have this already showing off the side of the screen. I don't know. I'm trying to make atmosphere here, dog. I don't know. Anyway, so you slide down here. And this part, you know, it's not immediately obvious, but the idea here is the Golden Fleece boys maybe kill themselves down the murder hole. But what happens is all the coins they drop then goes onto the conveyor, and you can get them later. So it's like a death machine for the sheep. Anyway, the byproduct of that is you can essentially use that as a shortcut, I guess. If you're able to slide down there and avoid the spikes, you can use a little shortcut. Then we got the boulder that I just thought was a fun little addition that would then kill those sheep and give you all these coins. So the idea is the boulder jumps down here, and the way it kind of moves around this corner is it bounces and then like takes that torch out, which is pretty cool. So I put that there to kind of put it back on track and spring it, you know, off where I need it to be. So that's like just like a push bumper kind of thing. And this little doohickey here will give you super speed, I think, to the end of the level, but I'm not sure if it's timed. And then we're just gonna have fun zooming down here again. any coins that drop down here. It's like, from here, it looks like, oh, you don't want to fall down the hole because it's instant death. But actually, as long as you avoid the spikes, it's a shortcut, dude. Listen, playing with that light, it's a bad level, I know, but these little concepts of playing with light really excite me. Okay, so then we're just coming across here using our super speed and jumping across these gaps. Again, you could just fall right down them. And then we convey about all the way home. And I just thought that was fun to kind of zoom us towards the gate, which then takes us back to our regular world, all the way up to the top here. We got an arrow telling us, yes, the right way to go is down. So we're going to slide down the wall. And as long as you just hug the wall, hit the wall, slide down it, don't touch anything, you got to shimmy on down here. You got to trigger this little area here, which will in fact open the gates just in time for you to land directly smack bang on top of the little ending crystal there, and you're done. Look, I've had way more fun making this level than actually playing the game, and I think that's totally okay. Again, there'll be a link to this level in the description below. I am going to publish it right now for you. Let us publish the level. So this is called Baby's First Level. We're up there, boys. Let's fully go. I need you to play my level. Alright guys, that's all I wanted to say. I've been really enjoying Million to One Hero, and I dearly hope it gets the community that I believe it deserves. So thank you very much for watching. Let me know what you think of the game in the comments below. Ooh, easing back into that YouTube lifestyle. It's feeling a little bit crusty, feeling a little bit stiff, but oh buddy, I'll tell you what, feels good. Alright guys, taste the game, be excellent to each other, and I'll see you next time. Ricky Summer, out.